Hello everyone, it's Mr. Underscore Rotor from Mixer here. Today's video is going to be about networking. Not just any kind of networking, but how it relates to streaming and businesses. So a bit about me. I've been doing consulting work for over 14 years now, and networking was a major part of my success in that career. Uh, if you'd like to know more about me or have any questions about this topic that I don't cover, please head over to my stream, mixer.com backslash Mr. underscore rotor, and I'm always willing and able to help people out with questions related to streaming. So let's go ahead and get into this. Uh, Networking is a kind of a term that gets thrown around a lot in the streaming community. However, I think there's quite a few people that don't understand what real networking is. Uh, yes, I did say real networking. So, what I'd like to do is I'm going to be showing you what that actually looks like. So, let's just take a look at this definition over here. Okay. So networking, and it's always smart that when you're talking about specific terms, you go to the right place. Not necessarily is the dictionary term the best term to be using. So we're talking about networking in regards to a business. And yes, you're in the streaming and entertainment business. Okay. So let's look at it from the proper sources. So this is Investopedia.com, and this is a really good source to be using if you're looking at business terms and you're looking at market research or anything like that. This is a really good place to go to is Investopedia.com. So their term is for networking, the definition, networking is the exchange of information and ideas among people with a common profession or special interests. So, like I said, Investopedia is a good source of information when it comes to business because it's centered on investments, revenues, and of course, businesses. There's a lot more on this. If you want to get into the fine details, it's investopedia.com. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page as far as what the definition actually is. Now that we have the definition of networking in relationship to streaming and entertainment, let's kind of unpack a little bit of what that means. Okay. Uh, there is actually a really good read. I would highly recommend it if you're wanting to know more about what I'm about to be discussing. There is going to be some numbers thrown around, some statistics. Uh, don't let that bog you down. There's going to be some specific details. I will highlight what they are at the end to show you that this is the important stuff, okay? So there's a good book. It's called Outliers: The Story of Success, and I'm going to be kind of hitting the highlights already from that book. So you don't have to read that, but I do suggest if you'd love to pick up something that's good and informative for yourself, Outliers: The Story of Success. There is some debate over the numbers that I'm going to be presenting you, but the premise is actually fully agreed upon with all the people that are in the debate about the numbers. Okay, so let's get into it. Networking. In regards to a standard business, it's about 1/10 of your overall experience in becoming an expert. Okay, so an expert can be statistically summarized as someone who spends 10,000 hours working on their trade over a 10-year period. So 10,000 hours over a 10-year period. Those two numbers are kind of important with each other. This breaks down into about 1,000 hours a year for math purposes. That's about 100 hours spent on networking in a year. So remember, I said standard business, 1/10 of that is networking. So, okay, so now that you got the math down, question actually comes down to whether that is accurate or not. So I was referring to a standard business. That answer depends on the type of business we are in. We are in the entertaining streaming business. So 1/10 of networking is not going to cut it at all. As a consultant, my networking time was 9/10 of my job. Okay. So it was completely the opposite way around. Everything else was that 1/10 is all. The other 9/10 was my networking. Being a streamer is very similar, and you're basically doing a form of sales. Your product is you. We can care less what your stream looks like. If you are entertaining, you will be successful. That is the point. Now, we're still talking about networking though, okay? And this is why this is important. Marketing can be part of your networking, but if you're paying for somebody to listen to you talk, you'll be losing money. The only place, and again, the only place that this is successful is when you are talking about timeshares, because they show you that right there. Yes, that's steak and lobster dinner. I can talk to you for 30 minutes and you're not going to care what my voice sounds like that much because you're enjoying that steak and lobster dinner. Timeshares can get away with that because most of them usually have a secondary business venture, and guess what? It's catering. So all they need is just a couple of people to buy in out of the hundreds that show up. They've made their overhead costs back and they're in business. All because of the steak and lobster. Okay? Remember though, if you're going to be using marketing as a networking tool, you're marketing yourself. Okay? So you need to be able to how to talk about your own self. It for some people it's so weird to do, but you've got to be able to do it. Okay? But here's the thing. If you're going to be selling yourself, there's a couple questions you need to ask. And if you haven't asked them of yourself, you should probably do that at the end of this video. So, what is it you have to offer is the first question. What are you doing? Are you even the nice person? I mean, do I want to listen to you for 5 minutes? The better question, would you listen to yourself for 5 minutes or more? I know, that sounds pretty harsh, right? It's really judging yourself. But have you asked yourself those questions? If you haven't, why haven't you? Okay, so if you're still with me on this, let's kind of get back and make sure everybody's on the same page now. So, my point being in all of this, if you're trying to be a streamer, entertainer, programmer, whatever you want to call it, you need to be thinking about your 10,000 hours. Okay, the result of networking is getting to your target audience and making them know you. Yes, I said making them know you because you have to be aggressively selling yourself because this is a business. I don't know how else to explain that anywhere else. If you want to be a successful business, you need to be selling your product. In entertainment, your product is yourself. So some common confusion of what real networking is. It's not handing out a business card. It's marketing. It's also not talking to someone for a few minutes and then dropping that you have a business. Marketing. It's not just talking for hours and hours and hours with somebody who's already famous and hoping they'll give you a piece of your spotlight. That's still marketing. Marketing. Marketing, 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 marketing. Real useful networking is being able to communicate with your competitors and getting to know them on a personal level. So, your competitors should become your allies because they're out there with the same goods and services and you are selling the same thing. You want them when they're not selling their product or they're out of their product to reference you, to tell other people this is the same product or a similar product and I support it. That's part of networking. That is usually your biggest goal in networking. So, who are your competitors? Well, you're listening to one right now. I'm also a streamer, therefore, I'm your competitor. Thing is, get kind of the competitiveness out of your head. There is a big enough market out there that my brand, your brand, the entertainment industry, there are enough people willing to consume it that our products are not really competitions to each other. Okay? There is also anyone who has more views than you in whatever category you stream under. those are actually your experts and what are considered masters of the trade. So, the other part of this, and I see it a lot, masters of your trades. Okay. See all those big name titles? Have you ever approached any of them? Have you thought of approaching them? Sending them a message saying, hey, I'm a streamer. I'd love to be working with you and do some networking. If you haven't, or you're scared to, this is you. You think of the big Godzilla and you're the little person. Yeah. Don't do that to yourself. Okay? I'm nobody. Those experts and masters will never talk to me. Have you tried yet? I can tell you right now, I have, and that's not the mentality to have because they will talk to you. They will help you. If they don't, we'll move on. Don't worry about that one individual. There are others out there. Okay. Now, a little bit more about myself. Again, this kind of leads back into what's gotten me into my consulting and what's gotten me into even streaming in some regards. I have a master's degree in public policy. And I'm also an educator. So my tools and resources that I have, I know are useful to you. Okay. The other thing, networking wise, there's so much confusion out there. You need to be sticking within your industry. Get the questions that you have, put them together, and ask them of your own industry. Don't ask them to random people. Follow for follows don't do you anything. The viewing numbers don't really mean a whole lot. Okay? What matters is whether you know how to be successful, and networking is going to be the way to do that. Okay? So, again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to swing on by my stream. I'm willing and happy to answer any questions always. It's just the type of person I am. Okay. Again, that is mixer.com backslash Mr. underscore rotor. And again, networking. I hope you see you out there and again, enjoy yourself.